morning, Lower School. I am so delighted that you could come up to Riley Theater to hear this performance today. And as one of your teachers, I'm also so excited because not only do I get to perform up here with some of my best friends, but they're also some of our teachers here at Shipley. You may recognize them, especially my 4th and 5th graders. All right? So we'll save introductions for the end, but I just want to tell you that this really, today is about joy. And it's about me when I was your age having a dream that I wanted to play music with my friends. And here I am today, I get to do that for you. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome our friend Michael, who is also joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the performance.
Good morning. My name is Michael, and I'd like to piggyback on what Mr. Givler said. I grew up in Iowa, and one of my fondest memories, without exaggerating, was being in kindergarten in Byron Rice Elementary School, and the 5th graders did You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And we sat in the Kafna Gymna Auditorium and watched them with cardboard boxes. But I vividly remember today, I'm 53, I vividly remember supper time and being so wowed by it that I also, in elementary school, wanted to be a performer, and here I am also. And here you are. How many people are about to hear Peter and the Wolf for the very first time in your human existence? And you could be an adult. Well, congratulations. This is a remarkable piece composed by someone who loved kids because he also was a dad. The Russian composer, Sergei Prokofiev, wrote his musical tale, Peter and the Wolf, for the Moscow Children's Theater in 1936. And each of the characters in the story are played by a different instrument. The bird is played by the flute. The duck by the oboe. The sly old cat by the clarinet. The bassoon plays Peter's grumpy old grandfather. The wicked wolf is played by the French horn. And Peter, the brave hero, is played by the wind quintet. Here then is the story of Peter and the Wolf. Early one morning, Peter opened the gate and went out into the big green meadow. the branch of a big tree sat a little bird, Peter's friend.
"It's a lovely, quiet morning,"
chirped the bird gaily. Just then, a duck came waddling round. She was glad Peter had not closed the gate and decided to take a nice swim in the deep pond in the meadow. Seeing the duck, the little bird flew down upon the grass, settled next to her, and shrugged his shoulders.
"What kind of a bird are you if you can't fly?"
said he. To this, the duck replied, "What kind of a bird are you if you can't swim?" And dived into the pond. They argued and argued, the duck swimming in the pond, the little bird hopping along the shore. Suddenly, something caught Peter's attention. He noticed a cat crawling through the grass.
The cat thought, "The bird is busy arguing. I'll just grab him."
Stealthily, she crept towards him on her velvet paws. shouted Peter, and the bird flew up into the tree. The duck quacked angrily at the cat. From the middle of the pond, the cat walked round the tree and thought, is it worth climbing up so high? By the time I get there, the bird will have flown away. Grandfather came out. He was angry because Peter had gone into the meadow. It is a dangerous place. If a wolf should come out of the forest, what would you do then? Huh? Peter paid no attention to his grandfather's words. Boys like him are not afraid of wolves. But Grandfather took Peter by the hand, locked the gate, and led him home. No sooner had Peter gone than a big gray wolf did come out of the forest. In a flash, the cat climbed to the very top of the tree. The duck quacked, and in her terror, jumped right out of the pond. But no matter how hard the duck tried to run, she couldn't escape the wolf. He was getting nearer, nearer, catching up with her, and then he got her! And with one gulp, swallowed her. And now, this is how things stood. The cat was sitting on one branch of the tree. The bird on another. Not too close to the cat. And the wolf walked round and round the tree, looking at them both with greedy eyes. In the meantime, Peter, without the slightest fear, stood behind the closed gate, watching all that was going on. He ran home, got a strong rope, and climbed up the high stone wall. One of the branches of the tree stretched out over the wall. Grabbing hold of the branch, Peter lightly climbed over into the tree. Peter said to the bird, "Fly down, circle round the wolf's head, only take care that he does not catch you." The bird almost touched the wolf's head with his wings, while the wolf snapped angrily at him from this side and that. How that bird worried the wolf, and how the wolf wanted to catch him. But the bird was cleverer, and the wolf simply couldn't do anything about it. Meanwhile, Peter made a lasso and, carefully letting it down, caught the wolf by the tail and pulled with all his might. Feeling himself caught, the wolf began to jump wildly, trying to get loose. But Peter tied the other end of the rope to the tree. And the wolf's jumping only made the rope around his tail tighter. Just then, the hunters came out of the woods. Following the wolf's trail and shooting as they went. Peter, who of course was sitting perched in the tree, said, "Don't shoot! Birdie and I have caught the wolf. You can help us take him to the zoo." And now, imagine the triumphant procession. Peter at the head. After Peter came the hunters, leading the wolf. Winding up the procession, Grandfather and the cat. Grandfather tossed his head grumpily. "Well, and if Peter had not caught the wolf, what then? Huh?" Above them flew Birdie, chirping merrily, "My, what brave fellows we are, Peter and I! Look what we have caught!" And if you listen very carefully, you can hear the duck quacking inside the wolf, because the wolf, in his haste, had swallowed her alive. Should we all stand up? Let's all stand up. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun. Wow. So we have just a few minutes, and we want to take some of your questions. So I'm going to come around, and the sorts of things that you saw here today, and I want to thank Ms. Jackson, actually, who's not feeling well today, because I know that she helped prepare you for what you were about to hear. So we as a group have been playing together for just about over a year, right? And the music that we made together, we do without words most of the time. We do it by looking at each other and conducting. You see, we move ourselves a lot, right? Each one of us does that, and that's the beauty of it. We don't use our words. But if you have any questions about how we as a group help make this performance happen today, I'd love to come around and hear what you have to say.
Yay!
Okay, so the question was, what movies have we done? And you may be thinking about this is a cartoon that many of you have seen before. So this is the music of Utopia. We actually haven't made a movie. This is the movie that will be on stage. Actually, we just did. You want to know, did the wolf get taken to the zoo in the end?
Yeah, he gets taken to the zoo.
He's alive and well.
He's okay. He gets taken to baggage claim. Well, the duck actually, in purpose of the story, is just to demonstrate that he's alive. But in my imagination, it's very abstract, but I believe the duck and the wolf live together, and the duck happens to just live inside the wolf. And Mr. Prokofiev doesn't answer it, so it's up to your imagination.
Why did only the duck get eaten and not the bird or the cat?
Because he wasn't very hungry.
Question? Let's see, any questions over here now? All right, I saw some questions here.
Why is it nothing like the real one?
The real one. Why is it nothing like the real one? Well, that depends on what your experience of Peter and the Wolf was before today. Hopefully you saw a different version and were just as excited by it. Okay?
Mr. Givler,
Yeah.
I will share that my wife, Sarah Valentine, I live in Maine, and I drove down here to perform today. But my wife and I used our imagination, and we invented this performance that I do. We invented it in our living room. And we just went around the house and found things we thought were fun. And then my wife made the wolf suitcase. We had an idea, and then she made it. And my wife made these, and my wife directed it like a play, but we invented it. And you could take the same piece of music in your classroom or your backyard and take your own things and make your own things. You could go to the hardware store and make up your own thing, but we made it up. So I think that's a cool thing.
All right. We have time for just a few more questions.
I liked the whole thing too.
Thank you. Thank you. We liked playing it for you. Yes, over here.
How did you make the cat?
The cat makes me laugh because it's just a purse. And inside I've got a sock with some rocks to help it stand up. And my wife, Sarah, put pipe cleaners on, and she tied a little piece of pink silk. But it's a cat only because we say it is. And it makes me laugh because it's funny, you know. But
How did you make the movie?
So the question was, how we make the movie. So we weren't in the movie, right? We had nothing to do with it. Our instruments, though, were in the cartoon that you've seen, right? And those instruments that Miss Jackson told you about and that you heard, we introduced the group. So this is a live performance. This isn't a movie. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right? Yes, sir.
Do you know that I got a grandpa that's 65?
60. All right. And does he sound like that bassoon? All right. I saw.
Grandpa.
We're going to take 2 more questions, and then we'll hand it over to Dr. Lightman. 2 more questions. Here's one. Quiet, please.
That's really funny.
My favorite part was when the duck got eaten.
Me too, because I was the wolf, which meant I got to eat it. Okay. One more question. Let's go here.
What is the tree made out of?
It's a coat rack. It's a coat rack that you could buy, and they never intended somebody to take apart. But I've been doing Peter and the Wolf since 2005. This is like my 115th Peter and the Wolf. And so I take that coat rack and all these things with me, but it's just a coat rack that you can take apart and put in a bag.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I just want to say thank you to the performers today. These are my very dear friends. This is Chelsea on flute. This is Megan on oboe. You might know her as Dr. Woodard. This is Julie on bassoon. And this is our clarinetist, Sean. And thank you again to Michael for coming all the way from Maine to join us. And here is Dr. Lightman.
And can we give a round of applause to Dr. Givler for bringing this to us? So we're going to head back to the lower school. Please remain seated for a second. Can 5th grade and 4th grade leave first?
Yay! Thank you. That was really fun. Super fun. Good job. It sounded really nice.
Elise?